A former Slavic Village church building has become a flashpoint for the neighborhood. We previously reported about an overnight homeless shelter facing a possible shutdown before it got last-minute funding.
News 5's Catherine Ross is following through on the status of that program. And tonight she explains why neighbors are bringing their concerns about the building to the city.
For a little more than a week, the basketball court inside the Pilgrim Church is where Samuel Say and several dozen others have been spending their nights.
I'm a bad time waiting on my housing to come through right now, but it's a good place to come to, though.
The Tremont Church is where the Radical Hospitality Overnight Center will operate the rest of its season. We previously told you RHOC was facing a major funding gap that could shut down the winter overnight shelter. The county approved more funding, but while the program waits to finalize a contract and get the money in hand, Paul Sherlock has been dipping into his own pocket.
Just the other day, when we still had nice weather, we were getting 31 people. So there is a need for this.
This former Slavic Village church was where RHOC had been operating, but after funding dried up and neighbors raised concerns, the property owner ended the partnership. This week, owner Stephanie Thomas answered to neighbors and board members during a Cleveland zoning meeting.
Children cannot ride their bike. They cannot come out and play because they're walking 24/7.
There are similar concerns neighbors told News 5 several weeks ago about the people using the center and attending support group meetings for substance abuse recovery.
You got a shelter right here in my backyard. To me, that you danger in my children, my grandkids' life.
This man tells us this week he's grateful the overnight center is gone, but he and others say they still worry about other services operating there.
I'm not going to move forward with housing unsheltered folks in the church without full permits approval, the blessing of the city and the neighbors.
At the zoning board's recommendation, Thomas is temporarily shutting down all programming at the building until she figures out its main use and gets the correct permissions.
I wish we could be in there right now, but we're going to take a pause and go through all the proper channels.
Her organization, Shelter the People Cleveland, hopes to eventually use the facility for its offices, and staff says they'll consider the best use for the neighborhood. Now, Thomas tells me she's still nailing down many of the details about how the building could be used in the future. She tells me she's working with the city to get all of the proper permits and plans to hold a community meeting to keep the neighborhood informed. In Cleveland, Catherine Ross, News 5.